Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay with the podcast. Took us a little longer than expected to get back to the hotel. But, actually, I don't think anyone's even watching. Okay, perfect.
Dooley.
Alrighty, so we got two people live right now. Sorry for the wait. Took us a little bit. Took us a little bit to get back to the hotel, as we were at another event. I guess we'll start the podcast when a few more people join. We got 3 people. 4, excellent. All right, thanks for joining, everyone. It's the second episode of Not the G Word podcast with myself and RIFF 170. Tonight we have 20 questions for RIFF 170. We're just gonna wait for a few more people to join, and we will start the questions. Hope everyone's having a nice weekend so far, enjoying the nice weather that has been occurring in New York, and I guess we'll start the questions now. We got 6 people. I'm sure more people are gonna join us as we carry on. So Riff, if you just want to say anything, introduce yourself. I'll let you talk for a few minutes, and then we'll start our questions.
I'm really glad that Alan Ramsey, Funk, What You Heard, Reed Villamar, and other brothers are acknowledging. So, with no further ado, let's get on with the questions, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. And for people that really want to know the truth, this is what I'm going to tell you.
All right, so we're going to start with the questions, and hopefully for the next podcast, we're going to be changing the format up a little bit. But that'll be a work in progress. So hopefully next time, guys, when we do the next podcast, the format will be a little bit different, and hopefully it'll be able to be viewed a little more easily, because I know with IG Live it kind of ends after a bit where no one can view it. So I'm going to try to figure that out. And alrighty. So, Riff, the first question I have for you is, how come you find it important to promote style writing culture in its pure form?
I find it important because that's what made a lot of people stand up and really kind of take heed to what we were doing.
Yeah.
Because the more creative you got, the more people was wondering, how did these guys get to do this?
Yeah.
And due to the fact that we were all kids at the time, nobody older than 17, 18. Well, it was a few cats older than that, but it was a pure form of kids, from the early ages of 11 to 17. And keeping it in this purest form is, was the letters. That was, your AKA, your alias. And, speaking to one another throughout the 4 boroughs, really 5 with Staten Island.
Yeah.
So, it was a special thing and a special time.
Yeah. Alrighty. Our second question. I think we touched a little bit about this in the last podcast, but I just kind of want Riff to clear up the misconception of style writing being an element of hip hop. So here's the question: can you talk about how style writing and hip hop came into contact with each other in the early years?
Well, DJs threw parties and they needed people to do flyers, and besides themselves, so they got artists that were writers, and that's how we became a part of the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
If we were in our own entity, our own selves, we came out before hip hop.
Yeah.
But it was people from different walks of music that were in it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just hip hop. It was R&B. It was jazz.
Yeah.
It was rock. It was punk rock, and beholding that most of the talented writers was of from a certain culture.
Yeah.
Everybody figures that
Yeah.
it was all hip hop. No,
Yeah.
it was just writing.
And who were some of the people that you personally did flyers for, or maybe some of your peers? Who were maybe some of the artists that were known to have writers do flyers for them?
It was a lot of different crew people doing flyers. Like Baron and Breakout had people doing it for them. The Dean family had different people doing flyers for them.
Yeah.
Cool Herc and Coke Rock
Yeah.
had people doing flyers for them, such as myself.
Yeah.
And we touched on just doing the flyers to bring in the crowd and show them what, kind of give them a visual on what, the jam was going to be like.
Yeah.
And when they looked at the flyer was so appealing, it made them want to come. And that's what, put the marriage between hip hop and writing.
Okay. Has anyone ever talked to you about the flyers? Maybe not knowing that you actually did them, and when they found out, they're like, "Oh shit, man, that's pretty crazy that you were doing these flyers back in the '70s."
No, they really felt that, RIFF doing flyers. I don't think so. It was so many Doubting Thomases.
Yeah.
That you had to prove yourself, and I'm New York's own.
Yeah.
And I had to prove that everything that I've done, I did here.
Yeah.
But I was always second guessed and everything. But as you can see from my Instagram that you started for me, you can see all the stuff that I did.
Yeah.
And no one ever came up to me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't believe you." But
yeah.
now, like they said, a picture shows 1,000 words.
For real.
So now the pictures are there, but nobody's coming to say, "Yo, my bad."
Yeah. Pardon. Excuse me. Okay, our third question. I know we've personally talked about this, and I think I have made a post about it, but I think it's great to hear it coming from you. How did you come up with the name Boy 170?
Oh, I was a boy, and 170, and it fit the bill, so I just wanted to use that. So because we did have female writers,
Yeah.
quite a few of them.
Yeah.
So like Charmin 65, Barbara, Eva, and Michelle 62, Poonie, Grape 897,
Yeah.
Barmaid. It was so many that contrary to the 80s women that say, "Oh, I was the only woman,"
Yeah.
which wasn't really true. There
Yeah.
were women before the 80s women that was doing it,
Yeah.
really putting it down.
Sorry, excuse me. Well, thank you for the insight onto that, because I'm sure people who are watching, I'm sure they're fascinated how you came up with some of these names and ideas. Okay, so the fourth question is, what was your favorite paint to use in the 70s?
No doubt, Red Devil. I ain't even gonna blink on that.
And what was it about Red Devil that made it so special for the 70s and within writing culture?
I think it's like certain paints now. It just had this, the way it came out, you could hear it.
Yeah.
It was, you had to have a certain technique when you were spraying.
Yeah.
Because you could get overspray and all that. But if you knew what you was doing, as you could see in some of my pictures from the Instagram, how
Yeah.
how quality my lines and things were, that we took that in pride to do the best work. Well, I took it in pride because that's why I was doing style writing and why I had so many names, because a lot of people wanted to have a lot of pieces. I wanted the best pieces.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I put up to the best of my ability.
Well, thank you for that answer, Riff. That's always interesting to hear your points of views. Well, you have your bite there. So Riff, I know people who know you. They already know this about you, and I know this about you. But how come you never felt the need to bring sketches to the trains when you're paying? You were known for always doing things off the top of your head. How come that was something that you were doing when a lot of people would bring sketches?
A lot of people in the 70s didn't bring sketches.
Okay.
And the reason I didn't bring sketches was FaZe said if they grabbed you, they got proof that this is what you were doing.
Yeah.
So
okay.
He told me the best way to come is from the mind. And once I did something, it was like FaZe said, Riff has a photographic memory. I'll do something, draw it, and then next time I'll do it better because I already got what I want to add to it.
Yeah.
And that's how it came about.
Okay, okay.
I wasn't the only one coming off the head.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let people know that. But,
all right.
I was really refined with it.
Yeah. So it seems Phase 2 was dropping some more knowledge to you as he has in the past.
Always. He was, not only was he a talented writer, but he was always dropping jewels about safety and everything, and about how to do things and how to go to the yard, and how to be smarter while you're doing it.
Yeah. Alrighty. So now on your Instagram page, I haven't had time to do a post about this yet. I'm hoping to very soon. But for those who may not know you as well as some other people some people may not know that sports was actually a big part of your life. So question number 6 is, how did sports have an impact on your life? Because I know you were quite talented when it came to that.
Well, it ran in my family. My brothers played basketball and ran track and everything.
Yeah.
And it carried over to the siblings.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We all, played some sort of sport, but I tried to play. I played football.
Yeah.
I ran track.
Excuse me.
I played a little hardball.
Yeah.
And I played basketball. But I wasn't the only one in Phase 2 played basketball. There was a lot of us that played basketball.
Yeah.
Allen Ramsey played basketball, which is chain 3.
Yeah.
And others played. But, when you're playing and you're going around in different circles, like writing all over the city, you tend to get into tournaments and other people get to see what you really can do.
Yeah.
And, not saying I was the best, but I was really talented at what I was doing. You know, because my mom's always preached to us, whatever it is you do in life, put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And I tried to put my best foot forward at all times.
Yeah, that's good advice to live by. Another side note to the sports, what was your favorite sport to play? I think I know the answer, but for our viewers, what was your favorite thing to play?
Really, at first it was football.
Okay.
People would think it was basketball. The basketball came secondary. But football was my favorite sport. I was a Raider fan.
Okay.
And I loved Ben Davison, Dal LaMonica, Warren Wells, George Atkinson, and Fred Biletnikoff. Because they were the bad guys. Nobody liked the bad guys. I liked the bad guys because the bad guys knew how to win.
Yeah.
And it wasn't nothing wrong because they got a label because they played hard and they wanted to win.
Yeah.
And that's why I liked them. And that's why I played football.
Alrighty. Well, that's always interesting to hear that. Even though I know you fairly well, I don't know everything, so it's always great to even learn more stuff. We're on question 7 now, everyone. So, some of you guys may or may not know. I don't want to talk too much about this because I feel it's only fair for Riff to talk about it. But he did leave New York for a while. He did go to the South. So question number 7 is, what was your reaction to style writing when you came back from the South in the late 90s?
My reaction was trying to see who was the newcomers and who was, really had imagination to, just doing the art.
Yeah.
Not nobody that wanted to be known. It was too many guys writing blockbusters and straight letters because all they wanted was the fame.
Yeah.
They didn't love the art. Because if you loved the art, you would have went in, to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, they just wanted to be known.
Okay.
Guys like me, FaZe, Pell, Chain, to name a few, Solid,
Yeah.
we wanted to take it to the extraordinary.
Yeah.
The extraordinary.
Yeah. No, I feel that, man. I feel that. Alrighty. So, this question, so what are some of your concerns with writing culture today and the spreading of misinformation within this culture? Because I'm sure we could spend a whole podcast just talking about the misconceptions of what's being pushed forward today. So I just want to hear from you. And what are some of your concerns? What do you feel that's not being promoted in the right way of style writing culture?
I think that a lot of people are scared to step forward and speak their mind.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it all.
Yeah.
Being misinformed by the misinformed that's not even in the culture.
Yeah.
But yet they're going to tell you about the culture. Why we can't tell you about the culture to people that did the culture?
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
And it's a closed mouth don't get fed. If you can't speak up, why you in this culture?
Okay.
I think that's the thing that's really hurting the culture, that people don't want to speak up and they scared to hear the truth.
Yeah.
Like Robert De Niro said, you want to know the truth? You can't stand the truth. And that's the truth. Because when I tell people what I've done, everybody was like, where's the pictures? Where's the pictures? Now all the pictures are here.
Yeah.
And they're looking at them. And none of them come to me and say, yo, how that was in the 70s? How you do that?
Excuse me. Yeah.
Look at how crispy that is.
Yeah.
It's still no, you got to pat your own self on the back.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to pat you on the back.
Yeah.
And that's bad, Jealous ones envy. I like when Fat Joe made that record. Because, why we can't all just be real with it?
Yeah.
And that's the thing with style writing that's hurting because, guys like Dustin and them trying to take it further, Vulcan, Dome, those are guys that I look at because, and guys like Hate 156, they wanna put a twist on it, give you something to think about, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You can't be the same run of the mill guy, because that don't cut it.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
You got to bring some type of swagger to the game.
Yeah, no, that's understandable, and definitely all those people you mentioned are definitely bringing something special to the game. Okay, so Riff, you grew up in New York when New York was a very different place. So how has New York changed since you were a kid?
It's not enough New Yorkers here anymore.
Thought you would say that.
It's people from everywhere else, but New York.
Yeah.
A lot of New Yorkers done left New York because of the high cost of living, and because you're not, they didn't want to raise, minimum wage.
Yeah.
This is a metropolis. This is one of the money-making cities in the world.
Yeah.
Why can't, money, which they just starting to do, now we getting $15.
Yeah.
In this 2000 millennium.
Yeah.
It took so long before they even wanted to raise it.
Yeah.
From $7 and come on.
Yeah, I don't know how you live on $7.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Especially when the cost of living keep going up,
Yeah,
but your
for
pay
real.
stays the same
For
for
real.
years.
Okay, question number 10 for you, Riff. What keeps you inspired to keep creating artwork or new styles, new letters?
Because I love it. That's why I got into it from the beginning. You know, I wasn't in it because I wanted to be known. I got in it because two brothers, Chris and Bonanza, they seen my hand style when I was writing in my book in school for school. And
Yeah.
they kept telling me, oh, you know, you got nice handwriting. And they would ask me questions, where did you get that from? I said, my mother. She
Yeah.
had a great penmanship.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to emulate her because her handwriting was so stylish and so beautiful. So she used to tell me, you want to get like that, you got to practice.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I practiced on my hand style.
Okay. It's always great to hear those kinds of stories, especially about your mom, because I never got to meet her, so I always enjoy hearing those stories. So actually, speaking about your mom, question number 11 actually has to deal with your mom. What was your mother's reaction when she found out that you were RIFF 170 and that you were the one killing the trains?
Well, you know, she didn't kind of like believed it until this one person called and told her, yo, your son was in the group because he was a great artist, but he also hit the subways. And I was like, why would he tell her that? That's crazy. You know, I left the group, so why you still throwing me under the bus? You know,
Yeah.
you didn't want me in the group anyway, so I left the group, and now you still want to throw me under the bus. I thought that was crazy. I didn't understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time you told me that story. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, because getting popped at the dinner table was
Yeah,
funny.
for real.
Boy, what you was doing? You crazy? You out there trying to kill yourself? You know, and I couldn't really, you know, I had a real good mom.
Yeah.
You know, she let you speak your mind, but, you know, I really couldn't say a lot of things, you know, because I didn't want her to think that I was being, you know,
Yeah.
high strung and outspoken and brash.
Yeah.
But she asked me, she said, how did you get so sneaky? I said, okay, you're not going to pop me again, right? She said, no, go ahead. Tell me how you got so sneaky. Never let your right hand know what your left hand's doing. That was one of her sayings. So that was her saying, if you're doing something bad, don't let me get wind of it.
Yeah.
So she laughed at that. She said, wow, yeah, you was listening. But she just was worried about my well-being. It wasn't, you know, about me getting hurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, she loved my art because when I used to be sitting in the room drawing, she used to come in and say, oh, that's nice. And she used to say sometimes when she had cards for people for Christmas, oh, sign this card for me because you got a nice handwriting just like me. And I
Yeah.
would do it. So, you know, she helped me get my penmanship to where it was.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that, you know, she helped me achieve what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So, question number 12 for you. What were the reactions of people when you were doing hats on the streets a few years back?
Oh, well, the reaction of people was, you know, they came, they liked the hats, and I really didn't start that.
Yeah.
It was a brother named Knack, 143rd. He asked me to come down and do some hats. And so one day I finally went down and I did some hats. The people really liked the hats I was doing, and, you know, they was acting like I was the only one that could do hats. I said, all of us can draw. All of us is nice. You just got to pick the one and see how the hat comes out.
Yeah.
And that's how I always felt, you know. There's no one person that rocks the show. In this culture, it's all or nothing. And that's what people are missing. It's a culture. It's not one person.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so question number 13, everyone. Some people may or may not know this about RIFF, but at one point, unfortunately, RIFF 170 was homeless. So question number 13 is revolving around that unfortunate situation that Riff had to go through. So while you were living on the streets, were you still developing, creating new styles? Was style writing still on your mind? Something that you were actively doing while you were out on the streets?
Yeah, I was still drawing because I have a love of it.
Yeah.
You know, I was still creating because you seen some of the stuff I showed you.
Yeah, yeah.
A old broken frame that I did an R on, and I
Yeah.
did that in storage, sitting in the storage waiting to pay my bill, and people that were in the storage were gathering around and looking, going, "That's different. That's real nice," you know, and that kept me motivated to do more stuff because, and that was just a single letter.
Yeah.
If you could do just one letter and really grab an audience, imagine what you could do with a whole masterpiece.
Yeah, for real.
And that's what inspires me.
Yeah, if it's the piece that I think you're talking about, that was a really nice one letter masterpiece you did there. Okay, question number 14. So, as you guys know, I'm helping Riff do his Instagram, but unfortunately, there are actually a lot of photos that actually haven't been seen. Riff hasn't seen them in a really long time. Uh, there is another big writer who does have a lot of pictures of Riff. If Riff wants to say the name, I will let him say that, but I'm going to keep that to myself. So question number 14 is, can you talk about some of the pieces that you've done, but we actually haven't seen the flicks yet, because they actually...
Well, you know, it's not just me. It's a lot of writers that, like even Phase 2 and even probably Pell and King 2 and Bot, you know, even Don. You know, we did pieces sometimes we never even seen them again.
Yeah.
Because I did some candy stripe ones that I still haven't seen. I did a top to bottom peel with the letters peeling over like a sticker, and guys from the 7 seen that, but guys from the number lines didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
So you know, it was always things that you did and others seen, and the word of mouth passed it on.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
so I think that, you know, nobody could do it all, but to be more creative, if you could do a throw up, you could do a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to be creative with a throw up, putting a face in it, an eye, a mouth, or something.
Yeah.
So why not go for the real thing?
Yeah.
Go for the burner.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay. Question number 15. So everyone, we have about 5 more questions. And maybe if you guys have a couple of questions, if we have time, we can definitely try to answer those, because I know there are a couple of questions that were asked, so I will try to remember those to the best of my ability, and I will ask those to Riff after. Okay, so question number 15. What was your inspiration for your origami piece? Because I saw that recently, and that was...
Oh, the origami
That was cool.
came you know, kind of because of a brother named LSD Ooms. He had did the ribbon technique on the train a long time ago.
Okay.
So that was already done, and I wanted to do, you know, I was all about burners and new ideas, so I did these more folding letters, more like real sharp edges, like origami, you know, like the Japanese do origami figures. And I see it kind of came out kind of nice, and I ran with that, you know, because, you know, it's always good to bring something new to the table.
Yeah, that's for sure. You don't
And that's
know.
the only reason, you know, and that's what I named it, the origami. That's only one thing that I ever named that I've done on the subways. All the rest of my achievements were named by my peers and other guys.
Yeah. Okay. So question number 16. How quickly were you progressing with your styles? Because I know your first style that you showed me with SPAT, and you told me shortly after that you were completely changed your style up to something like, wow, that's something special. So
Yeah, because at first, you know, people just wanted to get up. Me, like I said, I just wanted to be different. I wanted to be me. So
Yeah.
I did my first style. To me was good, but then I started doing what I call the marshmallows. People call them the platform letters.
Yeah.
But I call them marshmallows because that's what they remind me of, the bottom of the letters.
Yeah.
And it wasn't long before we was taking off. Like, okay, I do this style for a month, and then a month later I'm doing the marshmallow. Then finally I was doing stuff that people were calling the mechanical. I didn't call it that. They
Yeah.
called it the mechanical because I was going in front and behind and through.
Yeah.
So, and it was hard edges. So people started calling it the mechanical.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the only one. It was Faze. He was doing, he was doing letters that were unique, and contrary to what everybody want to believe, they always just talk about him inventing the bubble letter, but he did a lot of other things.
Yeah.
He was very exclusive, like myself.
Yeah.
And I never take credit for being the only guy, but a lot of guys fed off me.
Yeah.
And learned a lot from what I was doing, because you can see it on the Instagram. If you when you bring up pictures of old trains from the early 70s and look at my stuff and look at everybody else's stuff, you can see the immense change that I was taking the culture through, along with Phase 2, along with other brothers. And Tracy was a hell of a talent, and he did some extraordinary things on the train, contrary to what everybody want to believe. They talk about Lee Quinones whole cars, but we was doing whole cars from the get-go.
Yeah.
We started that off
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It was guys like what's the brother's name? And I mean, he was nice. He did AJ 161.
Okay.
He did a whole car.
Yeah.
But he also in turn did a married couple, 2 whole cars.
Yeah, which is something you never.
All jobs, something that I didn't achieve.
Yeah.
And I found that to be spectacular. It wasn't the best piece, but he took us to another place.
Yeah.
And that's what made me do top to bottoms and whole cars.
Yeah.
Because it was something, let me see how you could create on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
And see how, how really gifted you were to do these things.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, the next question. So we're on question 17, everyone. Hope you guys are enjoying the knowledge that Riff is dropping. Okay, so Riff, what are you most proud of in your style writing legacy? What's something that you're like, man, I'm really happy I did that or achieved that or created that?
I didn't have a specific style. I just wanted to do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And, contrary to what everybody else want to believe, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to keep creating as much as I could. It wasn't about liking a specific style, because a lot of stuff, if Faze was right here, he'll tell you, Riff said that was whack.
Yeah.
But I could say that. It's my stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what I felt at the time. I felt that I didn't reach a certain point.
Yeah.
I felt that I still had more to give and more to explore in my mind.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, question 18. Was there a time where you were painting that you were actually pretty nervous because maybe you thought, the cops were around or the worker bums were like, yo, I need to get the fuck out of here, man?
You always kept your head on a swivel. That's something that Faze taught me, that always listen and always be prepared. Because at any time, the train doors could open up or somebody could walk up on you in the train yards. They didn't belong to us.
Yeah.
We were just visitors.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you were always nervous, but not really scared. You know,
Yeah.
you wanted to achieve this goal.
Yeah.
So you went out there like a gunslinger.
Yeah.
You know, it's me or him.
Yeah.
And that's how we did it.
Okay. 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 Question 19. What made your writing family so special, and what made you guys want to push each other so hard with creating new styles, being the best that you could be, and the friendly competitions that you guys would have with each
Well,
other?
the first friendly competition came from Staff 161, AJ's brother. He called me a biter because he did a stick man with a cannon, and then I did a top to bottom guy kneeling with sparks coming from his finger, blowing out a battleship cannon my name. And everybody seemed to like that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what started the friendly competition.
Yeah.
Then from there, I took off. I seen that, you know, the way to keep people from talking trash like I was talking trash was to beat them to it
Yeah.
and show them, you know, I talked it like I walked it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was friendly. It was never facetious or, you know, demeanoring. It was just
Yeah.
letting them know, you step into my zone, be prepared,
Yeah.
you know. And I used to always tell anybody that wrote with me, bring your A game.
Yeah.
And that's part of what you had to do. You know, you make other people step their game up. And I was like that, you know, from playing sports. It made me more competitive.
Yeah, I think you're dropping the same knowledge to a few other people at Henry's show today.
Yeah, well, they kind of really like, you know, and when they went on the Instagram and seen my stuff and seeing how well proportioned things I was doing back in the early 70s were, and seeing the lines and the creativity I was dropping was, you know, it was undeniable. You know, it's not like I'm selling the plane, boss, the plane.
Yeah.
It's not a fantasy island.
Yeah.
It's a true story, you
Yeah.
know. And I don't even have to be the one to tell the story. It was the others that were there that can tell that same story.
Okay, okay. Alrighty. So, guys, this is the last question from me. If you guys have a question to ask RIFF, you can post it now in the comments, and we will gladly answer as many questions as we get. I do remember two questions. The first one, I apologize, I don't remember who asked this question, but the person asked, who were some of your influences that really inspired you within style writing culture?
Well, you know, the first person I seen when being brought to the culture by Chris and Bonanza was how Phase 2 did his tag with the P and the H connecting, and I found that to be very interesting.
Yeah.
And also Cool Herc when he rode around the area where we lived on 170th, and all the different faces he put in when he did the Cool. You know, he had different faces and different styles of faces in his letters.
Okay. There was another question. I don't know who asked it, but they asked, do you still see Phase 2?
That's my big brother, you know. I'm kind of worried. I haven't seen him in a minute, but, you know, it would be nice to see him and find out what he's thinking, you know.
Yeah.
Because we're all still here for him.
Yeah.
You know, he's a very special individual.
That's for sure.
And, you know, he made me push myself to a limit that, you know, I kind of owed him a lot of gratitude for, because he was always telling me, you know, be smarter, be wiser.
Yeah.
Don't be cocky.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, it would be good to hear from him, you know, verbally.
Yeah.
Or see him in person.
No, that's understandable. I know how close you guys have been since '71, so that's a long friendship you guys have been sharing with each other. Let's see. You want to answer that one? So another question is what's your favorite burner style? Arrows or connecting letters?
Me, really, I like connecting letters.
Okay.
I like intertwining and going through and being like like if you were welding something together.
Yeah.
It's more creative. It's just so unique
Yeah.
how you make a one liner.
Yeah.
And that's how the origami is. It's like a one liner.
Yeah.
It's all keeps going on continuously.
Yeah.
So, I would take that more so, you know, a burner style more than the arrows. Arrows were good, but, you know, you had, like, one time I heard that Knox said, from, everybody has their own arrow. To a degree, that's true.
Yeah.
But I know FaZe had harpoons that were half arrows.
Yeah.
And FaZe had this thing where he'll do a point on a piece and put like a halo around it or two.
Yeah.
And then he had these things that look like spikes. On his letters that was so creative. It was always something different.
He did that for your Boy 170 piece. I really like that piece he did for you.
He was, we were always like kind of sending out something to make the other one like stand up and go, oh, that's kind of fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the name of the game. Just like Vulcan. Vulcan had his letters were so sharp and so so forceful and so impactful. Like it was like a Ginsu knife. You want some of this? You ready to risk your life?
Yeah.
I had to say he had some incredible letters to me and to FaZe. Everyone else. If you don't think it was letters, get close to it.
Yeah, no, you showed me some of Vulcan stuff. He's definitely another special brother within the culture. Okay, so there's another question. Was tagging over other artists a big thing back in the day, or was there more respect in the beginning?
It was more respect because it was like if you went over somebody, you got hot 110, and then you were outlawed. Guys would go over you.
Oh, okay.
So it was more like a family thing.
Yeah.
If you did it once, you got dealt with.
Yeah.
Somebody would tell you. They didn't come and kill you. They tell you and they let you know. You keep doing that.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be checked in a way that nobody's gonna never see what you're doing.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, no, things have definitely changed within the culture since you started. Let's see if there's any more questions. Yeah, no worries. Was a Joe Tattoo? Yeah, not a problem answering your question about phase 2. If there's any more questions, you guys, just type them in. If there aren't any more questions, we're gonna wrap this podcast up. So take another minute. I'm sure Riff would love to answer a few more questions. But if not, I will ask Riff the closing question. Seems like we're not getting any more, so I will ask Riff question number 20. And if we do get a question after, we will gladly answer that. Not a problem, you guys. So Riff, is there any last words, any kind of wisdom that you want to share to people who may be catching the end of the podcast, or who may be new to style writing culture, or who maybe just want to learn a little more about the truth and the masterpiece era, and maybe the signature era? What are your final words with this podcast?
Well, I just want people to when they go out there and you create, just be yourself. Just do what you do. Do it to the best of your abilities, and do it because you love it, not because you want fame.
Yeah.
Do it because it's something that inspires you to do it. If you're not inspired, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
So that's what I want people to know, that just go out and do it, you know, and achieve, you know, the best pinnacle you could achieve within yourself.
Yeah. So let me take a look there, Riff. Let's see if there's any more questions. So okay, so who's your favorite apprentice?
Um, it's a lot of guys that really, I can't say no one is my favorite, but guys that I showed stuff, or they looked at what I was doing and did great things. Knock 167 was one of them.
Yeah.
You know, Fuzz 1 was another one. You know, Billy 167 was another one. You know, I help influence a lot of guys. So did Phase 2. So I'm not just going to say I was the only guy,
Yeah.
but I was a major contributor to people wanting to do the best that they can do. And so was Phase.
Yeah.
You know, contrary to what anybody else wants to believe, it was true.
Yeah, because me and Riff, we were at the stand 153 wall and the Raby wall, and I was talking to Wicked Gary, and he approached me and said, you know what, Riff's a very special person within this culture. We need to make sure that we promote him in the right way because of what he had done within the culture. And it makes me happy to realize that people are finally... I know a lot of people in the 70s gave Riff his respects because of what he was doing, but it's nice that newer people in the culture are realizing what Riff 170 has done. So this is the reason why I felt it was personally important to start this IG page and why we wanted to start doing the podcast, just so we could have more discussions with people and things of that nature, because we do feel that it's important, even more so to Riff, because he's probably, if not one of the most important people in style writing culture. So we both felt that this was an important thing to do, and it seems that people are enjoying this. So we are going to continue with the podcast. We hope to do many more Not the G Word podcasts. At some point, the format is going to change. Be patient with that. We are going to change the format so it is more feasible for everyone to view the podcast. But just please give me some time and we will figure it out. And I think we have another question. That would be really nice if, out of anyone, Riff should be collaborating with these spray paint companies. How do you feel about that, Riff?
I feel if that's what they want of me, it's on them. I don't feel that I'm bigger or better than anything. If they want me to represent them,
Yeah.
and they're talking something good to me, you know, that'll be good. You know, because I still have a lot of friends that need paint to do productions, and I would love for them to get the paint, such as my brother Hate 156 and my brother, you know, my brothers Venom and my brothers Magoo, you know, two other nice talented brothers. And you know, it's just, you know, it's so many talented writers, but they have to buy their spray, and you know, they don't have the money to keep going out there doing it every day, but they got the talent for it. So if a spray can company wants to, you know, do a collaboration with me, then that's my, what I want from them is what, you know, for them to sponsor some of my friends.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because most of those guys, I met a lot of those guys today, and I've met some of them in the past, and the artwork they've been producing and showing me is quite phenomenal. So I do agree with you on that. We have a question from Serve. Pardon me, sorry guys. The respect we got is grand. My question is why other older writers don't fully take Graff seriously. You know who we mean, LOL. I'll let you take that one. Right?
Well, I don't think that they don't take it seriously. I think that we're always second guessed and always talk about, yeah, right, that old dinosaur stuff. But without that old dinosaur stuff, there wouldn't be no new stuff. You have to start somewhere. You gotta you gotta begin somewhere to go other places, and
Yeah.
that's what happened with me. I started off one place and ended up in another place.
Yeah.
So you gotta give the same courtesy that you want to them, and they'll give you back that same courtesy and be more serious with it. You know, but everybody doesn't have the gift of each and every individual. So that's definitely why a lot of older guys don't take it seriously, because they don't have you know they don't have the technique down that they used to have.
Alrighty. There seems to be any more questions. Let me see if I can come up with another question really quickly for you, so we can continue this conversation. So yeah, guys, if you have any more questions, please type them in. We do want to keep the conversation going for maybe another 5-10 minutes. Riff, is there anything that, without anyone asking you questions, is there anything that you want to talk about? Anything that you want to share? Anything that's on your mind about style writing culture that you want to share with our kind viewers?
I just want people to realize that you know, it's people out there trying to disrupt the culture and pit other cities against New York City, which we're the Mecca.
Yeah.
We started this culture as a culture. It was a lot of individuals, young kids that got together and ciphered in each other's house or on each other's stoop and everything. So, once it got big, now everybody's coming out the woodwork trying to say New York is not the Mecca. It's the Mecca. You better ask somebody.
Yeah, we had that proven us today with some of our conversations. Favorite hand styles from early. I'm assuming that means the 70s and.
Oh well, like I said, it's Cool Jeff, High 2, Jack Star, Phase 2, Cool Keto, Slim 1. I could go on. It was a lot of nice hand styles, a lot of nice tag styles. So, it's no really favorite, but it's so many exclusives. I just can't pick a favorite. Some people say my hand style is fly. I think it's just ordinary. I do it because it's me.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so Freedom wants to. I'm assuming this question is regarding the Don Bot Solid riff card that you did in memory of Bot's brother Solid.
Well, Chris, you should know better than that. You're supposed to say Solid Bot Don in riff. See, it flows off the tongue. That's the real way to say it. Because Solid and Bot were two special guys, and every time I went over their house to cipher, it was like Riff's family. And the Solid Bot Don card was only done because of Bot. He came to the basketball courts and got me out of the 104 basketball court playing ball and took me. We went to the layups and we did that train while being watched by the cops from down below in a cop car. Because I was supposed to put a tombstone on there, but I didn't get the chance because we didn't want to take the chance that they would raid and catch one of us. So we broke out.
So Riff, some people might not know, but how many of those pieces on that train did you do by yourself?
And I'm not going to answer that either.
All right, let's see. Let's see if there's another question. Okay, no, that's more just for you. Okay, next year in Montreal, Canada, we host the 25th Under Pressure event. We already had Cool Herc DJing for the event. Nice, yeah. I heard that's a pretty big event. I've never been, but I'm from Toronto, so maybe we can get Riff down to check that out. That'd be kind of nice. But
I would love to go and check it out, but I'm saying, you know, people so busy trying to say that I lost it, but when they see a drawing or a sketch of mine or a full color sketch, if I lost it, why they still asking about me? You know, I think that people just want to be able to just say something because they could run their mouth instead of really looking at what I've done or what I'm doing and really check it out. Because, you know, anybody could say anything, but in reality, look at what you're talking about before you say what you're saying.
yeah.
And to Mr. Chris Papes, you know, no hard feelings or nothing. I know I corrected you on the way it was supposed to be said, but I'm glad you brought that car up because it was an amazing car. And thank you for feeling that way. Well, I don't think it's wrong to sell your artwork. If people want it and you're capable of doing it and they appreciate it, why not? You know, but don't sell yourself cheap. You know, if you're a good artist and you've been around for a while, you're paying for the person's vintageness and the nature of what they can create. You know, another man's treasure, garbage is always another man's treasure. So don't just, let people tell you you're not worth something.
Yeah.
Because we're all worth something.
That's good advice. Riff, was there anyone that you wanted to paint with that you never got the chance to paint with?
I think it was so many people that, it's a lot of things that I wanted to do again.
Excuse me.
But I guess it was my time. I
Yeah.
did all that I could do. Not really. I did as much as I could do, and I felt that I wasn't going to do this forever, but I was going to draw forever. I had a good run. I did a lot of achievements. I thought that it was time for me to step away, you know?
Do you want to talk about the last piece you painted? Or is there another question you want to answer from someone else?
I don't know why they say cornbread, keep saying cornbread was the first. He says that himself, but unless he was the first man, it dates back to even then. So he could never have been the first, So I don't know why you asked me that question because if you were the first, how come your hand style hasn't gotten any better? It's still infantile. This is what people need to ask. If you've been writing for so long, your hand style always gets better. And to John Tattoo, you're welcome, and I'm glad you appreciate what we brought to this culture. And I hope you keep doing what you're doing, for sure. So if anybody else doesn't have any more questions, I would like to finish my sandwich. no hard feelings. I'm just still hungry. No, cornbread ain't from New York, but it's not where you from. It's where you're at and what you do. I'm just saying, all of a sudden he gets a chance to talk, and you don't talk about nobody else from Philly. And there was other guys like Titty, Cool Earl, Popcorn. It was lots of other guys.